Good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, March 23rd. We're going to take a look at the SPY, the QQQ, the IWM, and then we'll go into 5 or 6 different charts that members have sent over. We'll take a look at those, and we'll get into that right after this. This is Patrick. You're trading with Prime. First thing we're gonna look at is the SPY. Just kind of see where we're at. See where we're at in the daily chart. Let's see what it's kind of looking like. Where are we headed? What price targets do we have? And it's kind of one of these things where I don't know if I would want to be. I want to go long, but I'm not sure about going long just yet. I would like to see prices over 394.17 or somewhere around 394, 394.50, but it all depends on price action. Otherwise, I'm looking for a dip by possibly down here around 380, 381. I don't know where SPY is going. Right now, the daily chart does not look exactly all that healthy. We closed below yesterday's open. So I wouldn't say that today's candle was totally engulfing, although, on the chart compared to yesterday it is, but I don't know about compared to the last several weeks. So it's not a completely bearish day, but it felt pretty bearish and selling off into the close. I don't like that. This candle was a reversal candle, kind of highlight that candle. This one's the somewhat of a reversal candle, but it looked like it worked out for one day. And now we are selling off a little bit here. We basically took back all of yesterday's gains and we're closed down here around 389.50. And so for that reason, I don't think necessarily that we should be going long just yet. I think we want to see a little bit more behavior. Let's see what the daily chart looks like over the next couple days. As far as to the downside, do I want to short this? I am more interested in short trades than I am in longs. I do believe this 398.12 is going to be the high for now until price can get over 394.17. We're going to have to call this a high, and so far this is a lower high. So we'll see what happens over the next few days. Let's look at the QQQ. QQQ, same kind of behavior where we see the high of 338.19, lower high at 324.39 roughly. And then now we're beginning to make two more lower highs. So again, I'm more bearish than I am bullish only for that reason. I want to see the Qs put in higher prices before I'm interested, or maybe consolidate a little bit, do something like this, start creating more higher lows, then I would be definitely more interested in it. One thing I want to point out, I've seen this where people are drawing a line across here and saying that this is a inverse head and shoulders, which technically is true. It can be inverse head and shoulders, but the only thing that makes that true is if we start getting above the price of 324.39, somewhere above 324, then we can say this is a head and shoulders and we can begin targeting a measured move. We can target the all-time highs. Until that happens though, I'm leaning more to the bearish side. And speaking of, for those of you guys who are not in the Discord, feel free. The link of the Discord is underneath the video. We did a trade alert today, the QQQ. And by the way, don't take any of these trades. They are no longer relevant. We are still holding 1/4 position of the IWM short trade we took a few days ago. We were stopped out of some of these trades. But looking down here at the QQQ, we had a day trade today. Well, we have a swing trade of the Qs. And we also have a day trade of the Qs. This was posted this morning. I want to say it was around 7. It was a little bit past 7:48, maybe around 7:50 in the morning. And so I even said wait for the rally to buy for a better price, in my opinion. And if we go back and look at the chart around 7:50, let's try to do this here. I'll go to intraday time frame. Let's do a 15-minute chart and zoom in just a little bit here so you guys can kind of see it. Today's price action, it was pretty choppy during the day today. So 7:15 is roughly around where my cursor is. We rallied a little bit, giving traders a good place to go ahead and take that short. And as far as taking profit to the downside, I went ahead and posted. It's hard to post throughout the day. I get pretty busy, but if you go down here, holding 56% on the day trade, can book at any time now. And then at the end of the day, towards the end of the day, I said 310, put booking profit, booking half here at 87%. And I'll go ahead and show you guys. Oops, here's that trade. The result of that trade, here's the 85%. Half of it, I didn't catch the second half of that trade, so I apologize for not taking the screenshot of the second half of it. Let me go back to the Discord one here. So taking half profit here, 87%. And then the other QQQ put, we are still holding that full position, swing trade. If you are involved in that, I'll try to post that tomorrow as far as exit points, when or where we want to exit or take a stop loss. Going back to the Qs, though, what do I see for the next couple days? I don't know. Again, I'm leaning more to the bearish side. I'm looking at this as more of the more likely scenario, although I have to keep in mind that this can be another higher low here, and we can easily shoot up here. We saw a lot more bullish action in the Qs and in the tech within, you know, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon. I think Apple closed out red on the day, but I believe it was up in the morning. A lot more action was more bullish in the Qs compared to the other charts. Here's another reasoning for my short trade. The Qs aren't really going to get very far without the IWM. And I noticed the broad market, speaking of the broad market, we saw a lot more bearish action across the broad market than we did in the tech space. So looking at the intraday time frame on the IWM, I did like this as an overall support area, but we went ahead and held a quarter position of the short trade. I definitely am seeing these lower highs in here, and that was the reasoning for the short trade taken a few days ago. And so right now, this is definitely not bullish behavior. This is bearish behavior. And I would not say that today's low is the low. I think that we could see a little bit more downside. And this is not investment advice. It's just looking at it. That's what I think that it, you know, that what I think the price action looks like it's going to start doing here is start giving us lower prices. And I don't want to even begin to give a price target of that yet, but IWM is not looking too healthy. And that fall behind the IWM, we have the financials. Financials, same thing, a little bit more profit taking. I think we can see a little bit more downside, maybe $32, possibly $31. I maybe would be a buyer down here around 30 bucks. I don't know if it's going to get there, or maybe even right around 31.18. That would be a way better price, 31.18. That's in this area right here. So we'll check on the financials in a couple days, see how those are doing. Okay, grab some popcorn, grab a cup of coffee. Let's get into these next few charts here. I'll try to spend a couple minutes going through the rest of the charts so I can get this video out to you guys. The first one we're looking at is JMIA. JMIA, just looking at the chart, and you guys can kind of see how I do this. If I was during the day, just pulled out my phone and looked at the chart really quick, this is the first thing that I am seeing. So it's what I'm going to tell you. Doesn't mean it's what's going to happen. It just means higher probability where I think that, you know, if I was going to be a buyer, where I'd be a buyer at. And for JMIA, unfortunately, I think that we still have a little bit more downside. I would not say that this is by any means a reversal candle in here. There isn't anything really bullish about today's price action. We are below the 20 and the 50. We are getting pinched now just above the 200 period. So this is actually pretty healthy, but we could see something like this before it takes off. So just be mindful of that. Where would I be a buyer? I would imagine this 200 period, since we haven't been back there in a while, I think that would be somewhat of support. And so first support area, I think on this chart would probably be around 36.50. Maybe 34.60 as far as the daily chart goes. Let's look at the next one, GNUS. And if I was going to be a buyer, I would wait for a little bit more price action in this. By the way, before I move off of this, I would wait to see something like this, consolidation, higher lows is what I'd be looking for to be a buyer. Let's look at GNUS. Excuse me. GNUS looks like we have a little bit of bullish price action today. We're having a little bit of trouble getting above this $2.91 resistance mark here. Let me take a look here really quick. Okay, I had to clear my throat there. Okay, so looks like we're coming up into some resistance, but I don't believe that is necessarily a reversal candle as far as here's the run up. And is this a reversal candle? It's a tail candle. I don't know. I mean, I think that maybe it just needs to cool off a little bit. Maybe it needs to consolidate a little bit. Maybe it'll do something like this. I think if we do think that this is a reversal candle, you technically could be short against the highs up here of this red candle. That was definitely a good area to go short against if you are short. But if you're long, I would just put your stop loss just underneath 250. I know we're quite a ways away from that. Just underneath 250, another area of support could possibly be this area right in here, which is around 225, 220. And then this pivot down here around 207. So you could just put your stop losses just underneath each pivot as you are bullish the stock. As the stock is running higher, just keep putting a stop loss underneath either the excuse me, the prior day's low or the last pivot low, which was like I was saying around 218, 220, and then also around 207. Let's take a look at BNGO. How are we doing on time? How are we doing on time? 10 minutes, not bad. I apologize for speaking terribly fast. I want to run through this for you guys. Okay, so BNGO, same kind of scenario as one of the first charts we saw, JMIA. Same scenario. There's no reason why price should be at or anywhere near $8.40, and that's around where we close the day today. This another way of looking at this is this: it could be a bullish action, and the way I would take this trade is I'd wait for it to get above probably this area right in here. Let me give you an actual price of that. I would wait for prices above $9.30, because if the price comes back up to this point later on, I believe that it can very easily just get up and go here just above. Somebody is sending me a apologize, guys. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I think right now, based on the close today, I think we could see a little bit further prices to the downside. If it gets below today's low, like let's say tomorrow, I think we'd be looking for a gap fill candidate, probably around $7.79. And below that, we might have some support below the next gap fill around 742. Sometimes you can take the actual price off the gap, like as far as, let me zoom in a little bit and show you what gaps I'm talking about. Here's a gap right here, and it goes all the way down to the closing print right here. And then there's another gap. Let me do a different color here. There's another gap just in here, and it goes down to this area down here. Sometimes price likes to use that gap as support, but if it falls below that price, I would use the next area as support. I don't like to take trades off of the gap, and the reason why is because it's a pretty far move to the downside. As far as this kind of price action, it's been enough consolidation to where if we did start selling off, we are going to go down a lot further. Just like if we did a measured move and here's your bull flag, just like if we broke this area, the same kind of measured move would be to the downside. So keep that in mind if you're trading this. If you are long, just know where your stop loss is going to be. And this definitely can be bullish, but I want to see more bullish action before I was to go long on it. Let me take a look at the CVX. CVX, same scenario, and a lot of these stocks could be being pulled around by the broad market, and that might be the reason for the bearish behavior. It's hard for me to discern where a good support is for this one. I know there's probably going to be support down here on 95.86. There's probably support somewhere in between, but the best area that I could find where I would be a buyer all day long would be at $95.70. I don't know if it's going to go all the way down there, but hypothetically, if it did go all the way down there, here's the weekly. And you can kind of see why now there is now some resistance. It's pretty extended on the weekly time frame. It needs a little bit more time of consolidation. It might do something like this first. So you could definitely see lower prices down here. 94, 93, 97. It's too far away to even begin to think about that's where it's going. But back on the daily, it can definitely find support in here, but when it's falling like this, I prefer to wait for some sort of, let's say it finds support down here around $99, just breaks below $100. And once it puts in some sort of doji candle or hammer candle, that's a good indication that the buyers are stepping in. And especially if the doji or hammer candle closes green. Where are we at here? AAPL, which is Apple. Apple, we're definitely going to be following the cues on Apple. I think that the inverse head and shoulders is a little bit more prevalent on Apple. I did notice this trend in here. I noticed a left shoulder ahead, a right shoulder. It has not broken through the neckline, which would be around $125, $126. You could also draw the neckline somewhat of an angle like this. Could also be the neckline. So we're waiting for a break above today's high. If we can get a break above today's high, I think that we'll have a little bit of resistance, at least intraday, around 126.5. And then if we can get over that, then we can begin targeting these upper areas around 135. But that hasn't exactly happened yet. I don't like today's price action as far as where it closed at, but based on yesterday's candle, which was Monday's, it can still be bullish or turn into something bullish. But let's give it a little bit more time. Last one, Roblox. I'm glad somebody brought the Roblox into this because I still have not picked it up for long term. I am looking to buy this long term. I'm also looking to trade this as far as a swing trade goes. The chart has not done anything to convince me of a good deal. I think that we can begin to see still lower prices. I don't know if we're going to get lower prices, but it's highly likely that we do. Just based on this daily chart, I noticed that there is a bear flag in here. Maybe we'll see somewhat of prices down in this area down here, which is around, maybe we'll see some prices down here around $64. I think it's highly likely that we get down to 64.5. Be very patient on this. We don't need to buy it at any point. Even if you're holding it for 5 years, there's no reason to rush into it. We can give it a little bit more time, let the chart develop, let it give us the signals that we're looking for. This could also be a giant bull flag. That is definitely possible. Draw it like that or draw it across like this, it doesn't matter. This could be a giant bull flag, but I think because price was already down at the support area down here a few days ago, or Friday, there's no reason why it should have went up and came back down. If anything, it should have went up and traded sideways, but it didn't. It pulled back in price instead of in time consolidation. So today's low could be the low, but I highly doubt that. It looks like it could possibly see some more downside, and so we will definitely post this in the alert section of the Discord. So be sure to join, be sure to go to the website, sign up, and you guys will see this alert if you're not in the Discord. Okay, that's it for this video. I appreciate your guys' time, but we'll see you guys in the next video.